So the one thing I wanted to talk about as I'm taking this trip back home to the homestead is, you see, we actually live on a paved road, which is pretty. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the drive home when you live off the grid. Most of the places here off the grid in Idaho, where I live, in the Panhandle, are significantly out there. Some are on paved roads that turn into dirt. Some are on just plain gravel roads. The thing about living out here is the county roads are not maintained that well. And for the most part during the winter time, the driving to most off-grid places can become pretty treacherous. This stretch actually, even though it's paved, very dangerous because this is the river's down there. I don't know if you can see it, but you go off this edge and you're into the river basically. And we're going uphill right now, but if we turn around and go downhill, this is a very, very dangerous road. Right now we are still on the grid for these folks, but most of these folks who live on the grid up here, you know, they're hauling water, they have gardens, they got farm animals, they live a pretty simple life out here. So it's not conventional on-grid places that you will see up here that have electricity. These people really are self-sustainable with that mentality. But like I said, we're going up the hill, but this goes downhill very, very fast and very dangerous, and then they don't plow. So when you live off the grid, that's kind of part of that lifestyle, is driving in the winter or driving even in the spring when there's, you know, the mudslides can come right on down off of the mountain. We also have issues when we have microbursts of bad storms. And in fact, this part of the road was blocked at one time trying to get up to our off-grid place. It was last year, and there was an abundance of trees that were down in the middle of the road. And you know, people around here carry their chainsaws with them. So it took about a half hour to clean up the road, but there was no crews coming to clean up the road, no county crews to clean up the road. This was our responsibility to take the chainsaws out and manually cut the trees and move them. And this is where it happened, right here in this spot. So we all got home, but it was very, very time-consuming and laborious. But, you know, that's the mentality of living off the road. You carry your chainsaw with you, you carry your shovels, you carry your chains. You carry your chains in your vehicle because you slide off, you got to get out yourself. And it doesn't make any difference if you're on the paved road. You're off the grid, and you're just not dealing with well-maintained roads. So that's a reality. You know, as I drive home here on this road, you live off the grid, you're going to expect that. So it's very different from most of how you friends live at home when you have the plows coming every day. You have they sand and they salt and they do all those wonderful things. And then you have our driveway, which is not as long as actually the other driveway, my respite place. But this driveway is very long. It needs to be plowed. You've seen our videos time and time again how Mr. Hilder's out here and he's plowing when it snows. So then you have the maintenance of your driveway. So a little bit different. You go off the grid, and most of the time the driveways are long, and you're responsible for the maintenance of those driveways, which means you better have a plow or a four-wheeler, because you're not going to be shoveling. And you're probably not going to be using snow blowers either. And you can see I'm still going up our driveway. So living off the grid, just the drive home, the drive to town, the drive up your own driveway, is very different from most of how conventional people live in even in rural areas, because even in rural areas, if you're on the grid, you're going to have the county taking care of all those roads. Not so much when you're off the grid. So here's the homestead. Look at that. The sun's trying to peek out, and I don't know, Mr. Hilder's home today. He's been hunting. Look at all that wood. Wood everywhere. Wood for survival. But all right, God bless you, friends. I just wanted to talk about the drive home and living off the grid with the roads. All right. Oh, there's Sprig. Okay, watch. Hi, honey.